The face of Swansea has changed over the last century. The peaceful seaside city, which resides on the South Wales coastline, is now home to over 230,000 people and is the second largest city in Wales. But 70 years ago, something happened to Swansea that would change the face of it forever. At the outbreak of World War II, Swansea docks were targeted by the German Luftwaffe in the hope it would cripple supplies entering Great Britain.
The great air battle, which has been in progress over this island for the last few weeks, has recently attained a high intensity. It is too soon to attempt to assign limits either to its scale or to its duration. We must certainly expect that greater efforts will be made by the enemy than any he has put forth.
On the 19th of February 1941, German bombers were dispatched for a raid that would last 3 consecutive nights.
Hostile airfields are still being developed in France and the Low Countries, and the movement of squadrons and material for attacking us is still proceeding.
The events that were about to unfold were to be known as the 3-night Blitz. At just after 7:30 p.m. on the 19th of February 1941, the residents of Swansea were woken to the sound of air raid sirens and the rumbling of German Luftwaffe bombers overhead. Much of the city centre was destroyed. Few buildings remained intact and untouched by fire and bombs. The castle, which has stood in Swansea for hundreds of years, was left unscathed by the bombings, and still stands proud today. The famous Ben Evans department store was directly hit and was burnt to the shell. A fountain is all that lies on what was once a grand department store. Swansea Marketplace was destroyed and completely burnt out. Since then, it has been rebuilt and is now a centrepiece in Swansea city centre. Wine Street and Salubrious Passage were left untouched. They are now home to Swansea's finest bars and restaurants. College Street, Gower Street, and Castle Street were all badly hit, with many buildings flattened. Residential areas were also affected by the bombing. Mayhill in particular was affected when bombs landed on houses there, killing most of the residents. Swansea docks, which were the primary target for the bombers, were only partially damaged and continued to operate throughout the rest of the war, bringing in vital supplies to Britain. Even today they operate as a busy shipping port, with the addition of the marina for private boat owners. One of the biggest churches in Swansea, St Mary's, was gutted by fire when incendiary bombs crashed through the roof. Nearby buildings were also hit and many people lost their lives. The church was finally restored in the 1950s. The 3-night Blitz was without doubt the worst disaster Swansea has seen in the last century. In total, 230 people lost their lives in the bombings, with another 409 injured. Swansea has risen out of the ashes and rubble to become the city it is today, a jewel on the South Wales coast, with a new face and a bright future.